system, in the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
Hello and welcome back to Source on Order. I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and yes, we are right back here on Ketchup Court, where we are on a mission to make the chaos of trials digestible bit by bit, so that you can see the process a bit clearer. But anyway, I want to get into the Monica Sementilli trial because we are now reaching its closing stages, its dawn, where a lot of the defense are now starting to show their salt, so to speak. I mean, we have just gone through Roy Baker's testimony, where we heard him testify to a lot of things that I just have had it's been a bit of a challenge to try and keep up with a lot of his testimonies. But after going through all of his testimonies and trying to marry the inconsistencies, trying to reference and bring together the context so that I don't confuse my own viewers in trying to analyze this trial for what it is. After moving on from that trial, the defense has called back up to testify. They have called Christopher Austin. They have called two new witnesses, Deborah Obad, who was the friend of the Sementillis, who was also at the scene, and also the daughters of Monica Sementilli, Isabella Sementilli, as well as Jessica Sementilli, also babysat for her. She gave testimony as well, and she is part of the MVP for the defense, the most valuable party for the defense. So on this show, we're gonna go through the three most valuable parties for the defense. This, like I said, Christopher Austin is one of them. Deborah Obad is one of them, and a witness, which it was kind of weird for me to say that she was the most valuable party, but she did have evidence to present, and her name goes by the name of Challed-Spong. She did have evidence to present that could have been valuable for the defense if it wasn't for that cross-examination, which I just can't wait to get into, because it sums up what the defense case has been so far. But without further, I want to get into today's most valuable party. Let's get into it. This is who the defense had to call on for their MVP.
Everything went down, like what he said to me, how he said it. He didn't really move until he got information from her.
And you refer to Jessica as a blabbermouth.
Yes.
In fact, he went on to say she's a very big blabbermouth.
Yes.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, at the time.
And I asked you, so then you deviated from what your standard is.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the day that the defense really threw a grenade at their case, and there's a lot of reasons why I say that to really begin with, because they had quite a bit going for them. I mean, can I really say it? I'm trying to be fair. It wasn't much going for them, if I'm being completely honest, looking at all the evidence in totality and the witnesses that they've called up. The only real witness that I felt was working in the defense favor goes by the name of, to some level, Anna Crescentini. I think she really gave a lot of vantage point, a unique vantage point to how Monica's state of mind would have been, which is what we really needed to see, because she hasn't testified all through this trial, which is her right. She hasn't really given testimony, so she gave a really unique vantage point into how she was feeling. Same with Jessica Sementilli. She also gave a unique vantage point. Sorry, not Jessica Sementilli, Isabella Sementilli. She also gave a unique vantage point. But the next three witnesses that we're going to talk about, which is the MVPs, before we go into them, they themselves offered quite a unique testimony, and I was wondering why the defense was calling on some of the witnesses to come and testify, in my honest opinion. But before we get into that, I want to go into 3 witnesses that were also called on the final part of the defense presentation of evidence. So these 3 witnesses goes by name of Neil Broom. He's the first witness I'm gonna call him. But before even going on to him, I want to look at a witness that I'm not really gonna play any clip of or even go into, because there was not really much that I could glean from the testimony. And this kind of sums up the defense, because I was like, a lot of the witnesses that they were calling up was to rebut the motive, which I didn't quite understand why they would do it, because it's not like it was a qualifying thing. Like, for example, the Corey Richards trial, right? That was aggravated murder. So there was some parts that needed some kind of motive tie-in to show that it was an aggravating factor. That was for that trial. But for this particular trial, I didn't really see a language in the law that would have necessitated for the defense to call on a witness that will be focusing on the motive, which is the insurance play on this one. But they called in a witness that goes by the name of Jason Rubin, who gave testimony in regards to Monica not really activating the options that was entitled to her, and not only not activating it, but she had no idea about it. That was really it. That was the value of it. And he was on for quite a while. He was called on in between Christopher Austin's testimony. And I felt like this is a good point to kind of lay the foundation, so that we know what basically happened. But I just thought I let you guys know, in case you guys have an interest in going to watch the case fully for yourself. You know that he was called, but honestly, he didn't really do much. But now I want to move on to Neil Broom, because even though Jason Rubin did not really do much for the defense whatsoever, like, you know, in my opinion anyway, didn't really move the needle for the defense, I did feel like this particular witness, Neil Broom, did actually cause a bit of, you know, he could have caused a bit of damage, a bit of damage for the defense, especially when he went on to testify that the search for that restaurant faux was likely a glitch. Let's go and listen to that testimony, because that faux search restaurant search was really important, because this was on the day that Fabio was being lured. This was the day before the day he was killed. So the day before Fabio was killed, he was being lured to a faux restaurant. Allegedly, Monica had sent a text message or had sent him Google search results, right? And it's him being Fabio. And this was to go to a restaurant to go and eat something there, etc. So this was supposed to be the site in which the first attempt at Fabio's life was supposed to go down with Christopher Austin. So without further, let's go into the testimony by Neil Broom around this full restaurant search.
Maps. This time the search was for EZGTR, and the resulting URL is a URL for Google Maps faux plus CA, meaning California. So a Google Maps search for something specifically called EZGTR gave a result of faux plus California. That doesn't pass the smell test. However, if you look at the URL directly above that line, you'll see Google Maps places EZGTR. So in other words, the URL for the line above is the correct answer to the Google Maps search for EZGTR. So this is another glitch that was in the Celebrate Review report.
There's another way to put it, in resurrecting the data for these entries, it's mixed up.
Correct.
These two pieces.
Correct.
And this is for the 2025 extraction.
That's correct.
Now, did you analyze the 2025 extraction with any other software?
I did.
Any other tools?
I did. As I mentioned earlier, I also used Magnet Forensics Axiom program.
Showing you page.
Okay, so by him using the importance of that testimony is by him using other tools, he's able to know is this glitch is easier, which is why he's making a testimony right now in regards to using Cellbrite to know is the glitch and well as a baseline, so to speak, and then use Axiom to kind of cross-reference. So he was able to see this glitch that he's now testifying to say that that the faux restaurant search didn't pass the smell test. There was also another glitch that he noticed that Neil Broom noticed as well, and this was in regards to the search in regarding the lifestyle lounge that was made by Monica, a Google search that was made by Monica, I believe, a day before she was arrested. I think around that time when she was arrested in June 2017. So this was the testimony regarding that search.
One, there's entry at 5:18, 58, entry at 5:46, 32, but no entry in between.
Correct, no entry at 5:45.
What does that tell you?
That a second tool did not produce the same results as Cellbrite did.
What does that tell you about the entry Google search for near me linked to lifestyle lounge?
That you should not trust that entry. It's a glitch. It's not a true and factual validated finding.
Right, showing you page 6 of Defense Exhibit 631. What is this?
So when we, as a forensics investigator, look at the evidence, we don't just look at the reports that I've been showing you previous. We have the ability to drill down and look at views of the evidence like this. What this is a hexadecimal representation of the data that was stored on the phone.
Okay, that's all I wanted, because this is not going into the technical part about how they pass through the data. But the most important part that I wanted to get out of that, it was the testimony that he made, that Neil Broom made in regards to the faux search, because on cross-examination this was rebutted really quickly, because it wasn't just a Google search that was made, and Ever Stagel, who done the cross-examination, was really was really quick to point it out that, hey, this search that you are saying that is a glitch, it can't be a glitch, because Monica also sent a text message that to basically send a text message to Fabio to say, yeah, this faux restaurant is where you're supposed to go. So it was more than a search. So if a search was a glitch, then how does a text message, how could that be a glitch as well? So I felt like to keep that idea of a premeditative element alive, the defense really nullified, the state, really nullified this witness's value, because he did cause, you can say reasonable doubt with his testimony. You can argue that he successfully did that, but after that cross-examination, there was no reasonable doubt after that. So the next witness that I want to go into before going into the MVP, the first MVP, which is Christopher Austin, the witness I want to go into is Ian Malatesta, because he's a divorce attorney, I should say, he is a divorce attorney, and he was primarily brought in to testify, just like Jason Rubin, to testify in rebuttal to Marie Ebenbasher's testimony. She was the witness that was brought in to show, to basically show a side-by-side of how much Monica stood to make if she was to have divorced, and how much she stood to make if Fabio had been dead. So the real meat of the testimony that I grabbed from Ian Malatesta's testimony was a testimony about how much value Fabio would have been to Monica alive rather than dead. So let's go to that testimony right now, and just before we go straight into the testimony in regards to our first MVP.
In determining whether or not, for the simple question, which no one should have to face, obviously, what was the worth of Mr. Sementilli in death versus divorce, what would your answer be?
In my opinion, it would have been beneficial for her that he live, and she go through a divorce.
For the reasons you stated.
For the reason I stated, that the options would have been $74,000, not $900. The house.
Well, you've
Talked about the house, talked about spousal.
Okay, for the reasons you've stated, and the main reason still remains the alimony, which was not even calculated. Is that
Can I
correct?
say one more thing?
Sure. Why not?
When I sat,
Yes, that's, I don't know how they do things in family law, but the evidence goes, sir. Here we have to follow it, sustained.
Is there another factor that you wanted to cite to the issue of death versus divorce?
yes, well, Miss Ebersbacher, I took a note when I was here on February 10th, and she said that she thought that spousal support would be for a period of 5 years. To me, that would be malpractice.
So you're saying it would be how long?
Well, she included temporary, which is the time of separation, to time of divorce, which in LA County takes approximately 2 years. And then she added on 3 years. Three years in a 21-year marriage is completely unacceptable.
What is acceptable?
A minimum of 10 years. They're married 21 years. It's a lengthy marriage. So.
And could be greater than 10 years.
It could be greater than 10, but to me, well, she's not a lawyer.
Well, that's a major factor on this chart.
Well, major factor to me, and the fact that she told the court and testified to 5 years, temporary and permanent, was, I would never accept any of that in my 47.
Sustained.
Okay, so everything that he's testified to there, in regards to, I do remember a case like this. I think when I was doing my interviews for the Depp v. Heard docuseries that I did, I remember speaking with a lawyer about this, how much Amber Heard was entitled to, and the same thing is the same thing in California. Like we were talking about that. In California, and spousal support does actually last for a minimum of 10, especially for a marriage for that long. And the juxtaposition, how we even arrived at that discussion of spousal support is, where Amber Heard was not married to Depp for that long, but then so she wouldn't have even made that much money, which is why settlement was probably the best option for her in that case, because she was not going to stand to make anything from spousal support. Here is a complete flip of that, because they've been married for quite a long time. I actually do believe him, and I do think that this was a valuable witness for the defense. I just don't think he really pushes the envelope too much, because it's not taking her away from the premeditative elements. It's only trying to argue a logical conclusion from the idea that he is trying to argue from a position that it would make sense, right? That it would make sense for her to keep him alive, in a sense that she would have earned money from alimony. She would have made money not just from the options that he had to make, but also from the alimony payments that she stood to receive. And correcting the record in regards to Miss Marie, and I gotta admit, I completely missed it. I did not even record what she wrote down about 5 years down, and he caught that. So I maybe that made the jury, maybe because the jury, I heard from the trial channel that the jury took 8 hours maximum in deliberating this case. So maybe the jury did deliberate over that and say, well, if the state are giving us witnesses that are giving us incomplete information, should we really, believe what they say? So maybe he did cause a bit of impact. Maybe. I have no idea. But I do think he was a good witness for the state. I just don't think he moved the needle as much to be their MVP. But the MVP now. Let's move on to the most valuable parties in this case, and the first one goes by the name of Christopher Austin. Christopher Austin, in this case, we have heard from so many times. He was recalled into this case, right? He was recalled into this case where his testimony was covered so many things. His testimony, first and foremost, was about the second attempt and the first attempt. The first attempt on his life, on Fabio's life, which was supposed to be the Pho restaurant. That was the massive revelation in his testimony. And the second attempt, we didn't even get to learn anything to do with Vegas. And all we learned from Christopher Austin's testimony, from the presentation of the evidence by the prosecution, was that they were only meeting up in Vegas to meet up with Monica, etc. I didn't know there was supposed to be a hit being made on Fabio's life. We only got to learn that from Robert Baker, which shows you how tightly the state has run this case, because they knew that Baker was going to come in and testify. So they kind of curated the questions around, because with the fact that Christopher Austin is now being recalled, I was, for the life of me, wondering, why are you recalling this witness? Not only are you now at the mercy of the state, having the potential to lead this witness and cross-examine him, which, I'll be honest, the state didn't really go into too much of of Austin. Maybe the scope wasn't wide enough for them. They had already covered a lot from the direct examination. But I thought if there was any new information to have come out from the direct examination in the defense case, then they are at the mercy of the state to really cross-examine that information and really extract value from it that would really help with meeting their burden. But nothing much came out of it. It's just reaffirming everything that we've already heard. And there was so many things that was reminded from his testimony that just kind of refreshed the jury's minds again of everything that he was talking about. And I, for the life of me, cannot see the value in his testimony. But let me go into the first part that he was testifying to, because what he gave testimony about was why he had gotten involved with this whole thing. So the stage was set where he gave testimony about knowing about Baker's sex offenders history. Well, when I say gave testimony, he wasn't really giving testimony. He had acknowledged the audio recording that was made of his interview with the state. That audio recording was brought in to be played to the jury. So that's what I mean by we got to hear everything that he already testified to, but now we get to hear it in the raw form, which my mind, again, lost, because I just don't know why this would be the better option to what he was testifying. I don't know why this would be the better option. I don't know what they were trying to do in raising, the defense was trying to do in raising reasonable doubt in this one. But anyway, so he gave so we got to hear him saying that Baker told him, we gotta take out this mother effer. So maybe that's why he was called maybe that's why he was called, to really send this idea that Baker was the one masterminding all of this. But the part that I want is where he gave testimony in regards to the reason why he was part of the conspiracy. Let's listen to that testimony right now.
And same for me.
Again, what were you going to get for doing a murder for them?
I'm assuming they were going to try to pay me, but they didn't say what type of amount.
You're assuming that because they said they were going to pay you?
Yes.
Who said that?
Baker says he's going to get her to give me some money for it.
Who's her?
The victim's wife.
Monica.
Thank you.
What kind of money were you expecting to get from this murder that you were going to do all on your own for someone you didn't even know?
Honestly, but
They didn't say a number. They just said, I'm gonna hook you up, and then I'm gonna send for you. So I'm assuming, well, a few thousand.
That's what you assumed? Did they say that?
They said, I was told
By?
Baker that if you do this, I'll get Monica to give you some money
From where?
from her life insurance.
And you were
He ran off like a few numbers,
Like what? Tell me about the numbers.
30, 40, 50, maybe 50 grand, I don't know.
He mentioned 30
Between 30 and 50 grand.
and $50,000. So, because you're not going to come in and like murder some guy you don't even know. I mean, you're Chris Austin.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, you're a decent human being. You're not going to fly your cookies into LAX for a couple of bucks. They're promising you, Baker says he's going to give you somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000 to off Monica's husband. And you said okay?
Yes.
Because?
He said, trust me, I won't let anything happen to you. And I was stupid.
And that's the most interesting part about this, because I wanted to stop there, because this is reminiscent again of what of what Baker is like, what we've got to hear from him anyway, in regards to, especially with Monica, because we know that Baker has basically said to Monica that he is going to take care of everything, he would lie for her, etc. So for all you know, Monica, again, I'm trying to give her let me give her the benefit of the doubt. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt here. Monica could have been, I don't believe this, but Monica could have been, let's say that she was caught up in all of this web, right? And she was an innocent bystander, right? In all of this. She really could have been told by this guy that she is now dating, saying, you are in this because he's not gonna say you're in this because of me. Again, I don't see how it makes sense, because I don't see how it makes sense. I'm trying to give it a benefit of that, but I still don't see how it makes sense, because I'm trying to wrap my head around how someone that has nothing to do with this is listening to this guy who is, how is this guy that knows how the prison system works, how is he supposed to protect her when he is a crook himself? Monica knows that he is a sex offender. Monica knows that he is past transgression. So how is this guy going to help her and reassure her, and yet she's not going to be found? I don't know. But all I'm trying to say is, it just seems to me that this particular part of the testimony being brought back up, it just renews in the jury's mind that they were really doing this for the insurance money. Not only were they doing this for the insurance money, but Austin, the reason why he had gotten involved was because of that money that he stood to gain. We don't know anything about Austin's background. We don't even know whether he had money troubles. That wasn't really introduced on the prosecution evidence. From what I've gathered, he seemed to have had a steady job, that he should be all right, and he was expecting a child. There were so many things that we got to hear from his testimony for the state, that him going into this kind of peculiar. But this is something that we didn't get to hear stress from the defense at all. We didn't even get to hear the defense asking questions about his home life, just to make it seem asked in a way that would have made it seem like you going into this was really out of your own choice. You just wanted more money because your life was set. Something like that. That's the way I kind of saw it. So now I want to move on to the next part of the testimony that he gave. Sorry, not testimony. So I'm used to saying testimony, but the Proffer audio that was played when he was recalled. And this was in regards to Austin saying that, well, the reason why he felt, let me put it like that, the reason why he felt he had to be part of this murder, according to Baker and Monica, because, and why he was indispensable to them. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Why? Because you were afraid? Said yes?
Yeah.
And so then what happened?
And we went back to the house. And at that point, I said, I don't want to leave for a while. And I went back on my feet. And in my mind, that's over. It's done. That's it.
Next day?
Next day, wake up, I'm chilling, watch TV.
You're not freaked out that like the night before these people were trying to get you to commit a murder? Is there anything I want to
I am, Beth, but I try to bring that down. Don't freak out. You know, you're about to leave soon. It's only a couple days. They're going to say, I get it. We're going to Hollywood. We're going to eat Roscoe's. We're going to get back to what we used to do. Just kind of chill. Like, sorry, I should do that. Don't worry about it. That's what we're going to do, Mama. Because we said, trust me. The day it happened, he's like, what if I go with you? I was like, I don't want to go. He said, I need you to go with me. I said, okay. Foolishly. And I was in there for a while. I was trying to figure out, like, how can I get out of here? And I got to the airport.
And do you go with Baker that morning when he leaves?
Leave where?
The apartment. Remember he talked?
I was at his apartment most of the day.
And he leave for a certain period of time?
When I woke up, he was gone. I was going to get him at the store or something like that.
And when Baker picked you up at the airport on the 22nd, do you remember what vehicle he was driving?
I was showing the pictures, so I know now. It's like a little
I'm talking about the day of that he picked you up at LAX. Do you remember what he was driving that day?
The day he picked me up, it was like a little Nissan, something like that.
Is it possible that the Nissan was a car that he didn't get until the day of the murder? Do you remember? Okay.
And I think that's why they wanted him in, because that little discrepancy that I'm just that just been highlighted there, the fact that he said the Nissan, that's why the defense likely wanted this witness in to be called in, because his memory, especially regarding to that Nissan, because we saw from Cyre's testimony as well as Missy Roberts' testimony that Robert Baker did not buy, well, I think it was Cyre, from Cyre's testimony that Baker did not hire the Nissan Versa until the day of the murder. So, and he arrived the day before, which was at the LAX, and that's what the state is trying to reconcile now. He's trying to say, are you sure it wasn't the day of the murder that he was, are you sure it was the Nissan that he was driving? Because if he was driving the Nissan Versa, that means Baker was the one that was planning everything, not Monica, because him going to but then again, that could easily be, taken away, like that could easily be explained away by just saying he probably just went there to just renew the Versa because he wanted to buy, or he wanted to get the Versa to carry out the first murder and get that out of the way on the 22nd. That maybe that's why. So you can explain that away, and then he just went to the Enterprise and renewed it. So I don't think the Versa is really that important, but knowing the defense, and that's why I said what I said, knowing the defense, that probably would have been a reason for him to say, okay, let's just call him up. And you're gonna see why I say that when we reach the next set of witnesses, because one of their witness, the last MVP for the show, you are going to see why I feel like the defense was really picking anything to try and make something stick. But nonetheless, I hope that you did catch the part of the audio recording of the proffer where it was said in the proffer that because no one knows him in LA, no one knows him around the family, he's not really known in this area, there'll be no record or trace of him. So that's why they wanted him involved, that he'll be fine. That's what I heard when I was going through this proffer. And it kind of echoes back to what I was saying in regards to the reason why he was part of this, the reason why Monica would have done everything. Monica, if she was part of this, she would have done everything to get Austin on board, which was the fact that he wasn't really known, and that's why and that's why he would have been there. So if that was the case, because they know that's the state's theory. The state's theory is Monica only wanted to go through this because she didn't want anyone in her family to know that she was cheating. She didn't want anyone in the family she didn't want to bring shame upon the family by going for a divorce. So she went for the death killed instead. So that was the testimony here. That was the Proffer recording given by Baker. So this is where we got to hear a bit more an echo of a testimony that was already made by Austin when he was giving testimony, and that was why Monica, wanted to get this particular hit done.
She doesn't like the man she's with right now.
Go back a little bit.
And quiet. For context, speak when spoken to. So I don't really interrupt like that.
What if she don't like him mean? What did they say about that?
To my knowledge, she don't like him, meaning like she doesn't like the man she's with right now.
And did someone say that to you?
Baker.
Baker said that.
Not to me.
But in front of you.
In front of me.
At this point, you had never met her.
No.
When you knew of her name, just from Baker, that's it, just Monica.
I know. When you mentioned her name, that's when her name came back up. I forgot her name.
Okay.
Just like there's a lot of people I forgot that he introduced me to.
But you knew who he was talking about was first on. You knew it was Monica Vet when he's talking about her. She don't like him.
After it kind of clicked.
Okay.
That this is the person that they were talking about in Vegas, to my knowledge.
That Baker and Birdsong were talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So now you know they're trying to get you maybe involved.
In some way, shape, or
In
form.
some way. Did you ask any questions then?
No.
Did the conversation go any further at that point?
No.
Because the kind of ended with, there's no planning, no talking about anything.
No. Not to my knowledge. No. Typically how anything, when I work for him, was like, hey, I'm going to do something, and I really had others look up that knowledge, and then that's how it happened.
So like he testified to, Austin testified to when he was on the stand for the state, he basically saying that she didn't like the man that she was with, basically echoing the same thing that he was saying on the stand, saying that that's what Baker told him. He never heard any of this from Monica directly, so maybe that's why the defense felt like it was good to get this back into the record so that you can hear from him, even at the time that none of these accounts that he was testifying to came from Monica herself, that it came from Baker, which is quite valuable in of itself, because if it's coming from one source, and then no one can corroborate who was saying anything to Baker, then it stands to reason that that there is really no way of showing that it was Monica that was pre-planning all of this. On top of that, there was references to Vegas, which I feel it's also another reason why they probably brought this in, because Austin himself wasn't quite sure of who he met in Vegas. He did say that he met Monica, but it wasn't quite sure why he was in Vegas. I do know, like based on everything that Baker was testifying to, it was to go and kill Fabio Sementilli. Let's go into the testimony in regards to the Vegas meeting that they supposedly had from the Proffer recording.
I was working on might have came up in like a phone conversation. You call. Okay, remember? I think I did meet her. If you remember her. I think I did. I think that's what it was. Do you remember anything about it at all? No. I don't remember the Aria Hotel other than the little car and the Aria Hotel. That is the Aria Hotel.
And what did you guys do together?
I remember standing. We probably would have ate. We were always trying to eat. So.
Was Gordon time with you guys? If you remember. Or do you think it was just Bob and Monica?
I think it was just me and Rob. I think it was just me and Baker. I think Bird's gonna stay at the house.
So is that what Timberline?
Yes, ma'am.
And did she have a daughter that you knew?
Yes.
What's her name? Jamie? Maybe Jenny? His daughter?
Again, it's important to note that the only reason why we got to learn about about there being a first attempt before there being even a second attempt at the Pho restaurant on the 22nd of January, and the 23rd of January, the third attempt that would end up with Vale. Before all of that, we only got to learn that from Robert Baker. We never got to hear that from Christopher Austin. And even now, in the Proffer agreement, we didn't hear that from Christopher Austin about there being a plot. We didn't got to hear that from Baker. So maybe on some realm, that's what the defense were kind of banking on. But again, why they didn't sell it when they were questioning, maybe the question wasn't worth asking regarding, was there discussions with you and Baker regarding killing Fabio in Vegas? I would have asked that question if I knew the record and I knew that it wasn't incriminating for my client to ask this question. I would have asked it and then get to hear him say no, there wasn't a discussion, because we haven't heard anything about that. And even if it says yes, there was a discussion, you'd be like, well, why didn't you tell that to Beth at the time? Oh, because they didn't ask. No, they did ask. They did ask. You only said that you met up with Baker and Birdsong. The question is there. They did. Is it not implied there that, there are so many ways that it could have been maneuvered, in my opinion, just asking the question. But again, like I said, I just don't know the record, so I don't know what kind of worms that question would have posed. But again, the reason why I'm bringing that up now is because it shows how much of a clusterfuck of a case that the defense had to maneuver. So I want to go now into the next part of the testimony that Austin gave. in his proffer, well, not testimony, I keep getting it wrong. The next part of the recording that I thought that was important to highlight from the proffer agreement that was made from the proffer agreement that was made with the state, where he testified to Baker, telling him that they needed to get this done now because they don't have they don't have much room to maneuver. Also, if you hear some background noise, if you hear bikes riding around, I do apologize. That is the neighborhood that I'm living at. Maybe there's a biker gang here that I'm not aware of, but that's probably the background sound that you're hearing. Anyway, let's go into testimony. Let's go into the recording of the proffer agreement, I should say, where he said to the DA, to Beth Silverman, when they were having this proffer agreement, that Baker prompted him to get this job done while he was on the scene, which is something I haven't heard from his direct examination when he was giving evidence for the state.
Yes.
What was that?
He said, we gotta go now. She went to the store, be home alone.
She went to the store meeting too.
Monica went to the store. And we went.
He said, just before that, was there a phone call or was there any communication?
There was a communication via phone. He picked up the phone and walked out of the room.
So it was a call?
I believe it was a call. A call or a text. So I believe it was a call. And he said, we gotta go now. She's gonna run to the store. She left the door unlocked. We gotta go now. And he said she left the door. And he put me in the trunk. I'm assuming because he didn't want me to know where I was going.
He put you in the trunk?
Yeah.
But you had already been to this house before?
Yeah.
He put you in the trunk in his garage?
Yeah.
Until he drove where?
Until he drove to wherever he parked the car, and then he let me out, and then we jumped up the hill. And you asked me if that was a legit act. No, it didn't. My front door is unlocked often.
Yeah.
And other people, it didn't.
But you knew that where you were going because the night before the plan was to kill Fabio at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And before you even left his house, he gave you clothing, you said.
Yeah.
What kind of clothes did he give you?
Baggy dark clothes.
And what did he tell you to do with the baggy dark clothes?
After the victim, after he was killed, he told me to go in the garage and get in the car, and that's what I did, and I waited. And it seemed like a very long time.
You didn't help him clean up the house?
I had seen the house outside of the kitchen and the patio and the living room area.
Did you guys go in through Monica's unlocked sliding door? The bedroom sliding door? You went to the front door. And you drove to the house in a what? Did Baker ever tell you where he got the rental vehicle from?
No.
And you never asked questions about where the rental vehicle comes from?
Oh, well, I saw it Enterprise.
What do you mean you saw it?
We would have rented kind of like had little stickers.
So you saw Enterprise on the car?
I think that, yeah, somewhere.
And who drove the car to somewhere near the crime scene where you guys got out and jogged up?
Baker.
Okay.
Okay, so like I said, that was the part of the testimony that was the part of the recording that was shared in regards to Baker prompting him, saying, "We got to get this done because we got to get this done now because the daughters are gonna come home." I'm not sure if you heard that, but that was what I particularly wanted to highlight, because that's when I think that's why they had gotten into. It kind of makes sense as well, because that's why they would have gotten into the Porsche and made their getaway in the Porsche, despite them coming in a Versa. And it's just a wild plan to think of. They got in a Versa, run into the premises, kills the guy, and then leaves in the Porsche. How does that even compute? Anyway. He also some few points that I thought was important to highlight from the Proffer agreement, audio, was where he was denying that he was expecting money from Monica, and he also confirmed that Baker was the person he was expecting to get the money from. It was Baker that was basically doing everything like that. That was basically the buffer between Monica and between Austin. That was the bulk of that. And he also said that when they were in the house, that Fabio was pretty shocked to have seen them in the house. Evidently, I mean, who wouldn't be shocked to have seen two strangers in your house about to take you out? And then, but the most important part of the testimony was where he said that Monica had told Baker. Monica had told Baker that he was going to leave the door open for him to enter the home, and which is reminiscent of what Isabella Sementilli was talking about. I think he had already given this testimony as well, but it's just good to hear again. I mean, not good for the defense, which is what kind of boggles my mind why you want to bring this in again. But we got to hear, because Isabella Sementilli testified when she was on the stand that the door was left open. Like, I don't think she testified, but she acknowledged that the door was left open when Everstego came up on cross-examination to point out that the door is that the door left open? And then she acknowledged, yeah, the door was open. But she doesn't know the context behind it, because the context behind it was Austin had given testimony, as well as in the proffer, to say that Monica told Baker to leave the door open. And this is one of those type of evidence that I believe just puts Monica in the complete mess here, because for all you know, that could be innocent. That could literally be innocent, that they just forgot to lock the door one day, like as Isabella Sementilli tried to explain, that sometimes that does happen in their household. But there is only one unique information that will come from, like, how would Baker know to even tell Austin that she's got? What would be the benefit? Like, how would he get that reassurance to even reassure? Let's say that he wanted to reassure Austin, right, that this was gonna go smoothly, that this person is behind it. How would he even get this knowledge to say, "Oh no, don't worry, she's gonna leave the door open for us to enter"? How would he know that, having been to the house probably once or twice back in 2016? It's things like this that kind of shows that Monica definitely had a hand to play in this, even if I'm trying to give her the most benefit of the doubt. Let's listen to the Proffer audio.
Did he ever say to you where the safe was?
No. Not that I can recall.
Do you feel that what was in the safe?
I misspoke prior, something jogged my memory with the questions. I repeated what I was told to say.
What does that mean?
When you asked me about the gold coins, I was told to repeat it, say you got it from me.
By who?
Mr. Baker.
So Baker told you to say that you got the coins from Baker?
Yeah.
But you did get them from Baker?
But I think he got them from the safe.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because he had mentioned that Monica said he has all kinds of stuff that he collects.
And how do you know that?
That's what he told me.
Baker said
Baker
what?
told me that Monica said he has all kinds of, like I said, I think they had been talking a lot. So I was on a need to know. So when he
Why
said
do you
that
think
to
they
me,
were talking a lot? Sorry to keep interrupting, but I just want to make sure we're clear about why.
I believe they were in like somewhat of a relationship.
And why do you think that?
Just how everything went down, like what he said to me, how he said it. He didn't really move until he got information from her.
You mean the date on the 22nd and the 23rd?
Yeah.
How do you know he was getting information from Monica on the 22nd and the 23rd?
Because when he was, this is my recollection, when he responded via text, then he'd asked me to go with him somewhere.
Okay.
And then when I went with him somewhere, like the night before, I said, nah, it didn't, can't work.
You mean the 22nd?
The 22nd. I believe he texted her and said it didn't work. And I went back to his pad and just crashed.
Did you ever mention swinging or anything like that?
Yeah.
What did you say about swinging?
I was 19 years old. I was intrigued by that.
No, I mean in terms of Monica.
No.
Did he ever mention anything about another website or way to communicate through a website referred to as Lifestyle Lounge?
No.
Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not.
Can you pull that up? Oh, when you went to the Sementilli home the first time with Baker, was that sometime in 2016?
Yes.
And did Baker tell you what the purpose was of having you go to that home? Something like you said she brought pizza from Domino's and you slept on the couch?
Yeah.
Did he tell you why?
He didn't tell me why, but when we left, he said, remember that layout.
Did you walk around the house?
No. I walked. I think they did.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
After I had a couple of slices, they showed me the patio and the TV.
Who showed you the patio?
Monica. Said, come on out here. I was like, okay. I just followed. I was like, oh, this is dope. I made it, a comment as I would if I saw something really nice. I was like, cook it.
You noticed that it was like it had a TV, a fire pit, it was cool out there, there was no home, like.
I noticed, I was like, oh, this is cool. And they started talking about stuff. They went back, Monica and Baker started talking about some things, and I watched TV on outside. And then I went inside.
Did you watch TV on the inside of the family room or outside?
Well, outside, and then I went inside.
So you watched TV both outside and in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they went off to do their thing.
What does that mean?
I think they went to have relations.
You mean to have sex?
Yes.
Where?
Wherever they walked to. I didn't pay no attention. When they walked and went. Where's the bedrooms?
Downstairs, upstairs?
I think they were downstairs.
Did either of them say anything to you, like, we'll be back, or?
Baker said, we'll be back.
And you did what? You just kept watching TV?
I watched TV until I fell asleep.
Why do you think she showed you the patio? Was there anything related to, like, what was going to happen? Was it just like a look at the patio? Like...
Hey, look at my house.
Okay.
That's how I proceeded. Look at my house.
Yeah, there was no talk about, because obviously it ended up happening on the patio.
And that's the most important part about all of this, because the fact that maybe this was where the jury kind of made the leap, right, in the end, to say that it's more than likely than not that Monica was involved in the planning of this, because what are the actual odds that the patio is where Fabio ended up losing his life? Because only a wife would know an information like that. Like, is it because we haven't heard anything about there being. Only thing that we've heard is from Baker about luring him from the patio into the house. That's the only thing that we've heard. And every time I listen to that testimony, I'm like, that is just ridiculous. Why would you want to lure him from the patio by turning off the TV? Like, that's why I didn't believe that testimony, because every time you hear it back, you find it hard to believe that the only part that Monica showed him was just the patio. That's it. No other area of the house, just the patio. So it kind of suggests to me, I mean, it was the kitchen that a lot of blood was found. I think it was the kitchen. There was a lot of vinegar in the kitchen. So to me, that's where I think a lot of if any doubt was to be inferred in this case, it will be just this area alone, because this is where the case is made or break here. And of course it was made here, because how else would they know how to get to the patio if not for, how else would they will only know the patio, and how would they know the patio? By going in from the kitchen. What I think, in my honest opinion, happened is not the fact that they turn off the light and then, Fabio was walking into the house and, or turn the TV and just to get him off the patio, as Baker testified to. I just personally think that they appeared in the kitchen and Fabio went in there and to confront them to leave his house, and that's where he ended up losing his life. That's the only thing that would make the most sense to me, because I just can't see a scenario in which it wouldn't make sense for Baker to just know where the fuse box is, as he says. Like, how would he know that? And if he didn't know that, how is he knowing that without Monica's hands being in it? Which kind of made me think his lies is what probably implicated Monica a bit more in this. Anyway, just a bit of a shameless plug here. If you are liking what you are seeing so far, make sure that you hit that like button so that this stream can be seen by others. I do live analysis of trials every week on this channel, on Source and Order. Every Sunday we are live from 4 p.m. Eastern time. The next case that we are going to tackle after this is the Leticia Stauch case. She has been granted a new trial, so we're gonna look at the first case and see what the logic was, the verdict logic with that, and analyze the trial and analyze that trial there. So that's coming for next week. I shall be looking at that trial. But back to the Christopher Austin, I apologize. Back to the Monica Sementilli trial, in which I am, of course, trying to find out why the daughters, well, at least that was the main reason why I wanted to look at this trial, when I saw that the daughters were basically saying that they don't believe that our mother committed this murder, and the evidence just seemed so conclusive in this. When I was watching all through, I wanted to see whether the verdicts aligned with what the daughters were seeing and experiencing, and I have no idea why they would say something like this. But to finish off Christopher Austin's Proffer testimony, where he gave testimony in regards to what was happening that day. The last part of the testimony that I want is where he basically said that he basically gave his opinion or his state of mind as to why he believed that Monica wanted this done. So this is the last part that I want to play from his profile before moving on to the second MVP, which is Deborah Obad. This is the last part of that Proffer agreement audio. Let's listen to it. And yeah, if you are enjoying this so far, hit that like button as always, and also let me know how you're feeling in the chat as well if you're watching live with us, and also if you're watching back on replay. Hi. Yeah, like hopefully we'll see you live one of these days. But if you are, hit that like button and let me know in the comment section how what you think of the entire analysis, the entire trial. And analysis. Do you think that this was a clear-cut case, or do you think it was actually a lot murkier? Do you think that Monica was just unfortunate to be caught up in all this? Let me know in the comment section. Anyway, let's listen to the audio of the Proffer agreement.
When you come down, you know that it's the plaintiff's sentence to forget to not let it out.
So when he was saying that night she wants it done for the insurance money, it wasn't supposed to be. What did he say to you about like what you were just talking about a minute ago? Your understanding was it wasn't supposed to be done at the house and the plan had to change.
It was supposed to be in somewhere out in public.
What did he say about that?
He said just like she's going to set him up.
He said who was going to set him up?
He said that Monica is going to set him up and send him to the store, get some food, get something. And that's when we met in the back alley. So when he said, hey, let's take a ride, he was explaining to me on the way over here. He's like, look, this is what he looks like. You're going to look for a truck, for a pickup truck, right? Kind of a big dude. Go in, scout it, make sure nobody's around, do it quick, and then, I'll be in the back. And then it will be done.
He was going to wait back there.
She was going to wait back there. Or move. I was supposed to, go back there or just walk away somewhere.
But what did he say about what you were talking about a minute ago, which was that it wasn't supposed to be done at the house, but then the plan changed and she said she wanted it.
She wanted it done because she went to the store. He told me that Monica was going to go to the store real quick and leave him alone.
That was on the next day, the 23rd.
The 23rd.
Okay.
He did let me know that he's going to meet with her.
When?
He just said I'm going to meet with her.
When did he say that?
He didn't say when he was going to meet with her.
So when did he tell you that?
The night before.
The night that you didn't go through the
night of the 22nd. Tell him to meet with her. And we'll figure it out. And I don't know what to say much.
Okay.
So to reconcile all of that, when the 22nd of April 22nd of April, why am I saying April? It's April, so maybe that's why I'm confused. Anyway, when the 22nd of January, I meant to say January, didn't go as planned, they met up. That's what Austin is basically offering here, that both Baker and Monica met up, and that's when the 23rd happened. He also gave information here in regards to Monica wanting this done for the insurance money, but not only that, the unique information that they were supposed to meet up as that they met up on the 23rd as well, which is something that he would know because we all saw on the CCTV, we all saw that there was a Porsche meeting up. I think it was on Missy Roberts' testimony and also Cyre's testimony as well, that there was a Porsche at the Target, I believe it was Target, or one of the stores, when Monica was parking up at one of the stores, that there was a Porsche meeting up there. So I believe that's the memory. That would be an accurate memory, because it stands to reason that he would know this, and he wouldn't have seen it for himself, which would make sense why he wouldn't be able to see it for himself, because they were trying to conceal him all through this. They were not trying to show that he was part of this in any way. That was the value of him, so that he's not seen as a conduit in all of this. But the fact that he was admittedly in the trunk of the vehicle, as he has said in his proffer, that he was in the trunk of the Porsche, that it was only Baker driving out of the facility. I think we've even seen it how out of the house. I think we have even seen it with Baker being the lone driver. So yeah, so that's what my memory is serving me. I don't know why I'm getting memory of there being two people in the trunk, but I believe from Ryan Werner's testimony, when we saw the trunk, if we have enough time, I will try and track down that testimony. I know it's there, and my mind is now playing tricks on me where it's like, no, you gotta verify this, but I distinctly do remember that because he would be in the trunk, it would make sense why he wouldn't have seen Monica or anything like that. But the fact that he said that both of them would have met up kind of comports with what the evidence have shown so far. So that was the bulk of his testimony done. We now move on to Deborah Obad. Now, Deborah Obad is a character in of herself because of everything that she gave testimony to regarding the what happened that day. Hold up, I went too far ahead. Anyway, in regards to what she had basically, in regards to Deborah Obad gave testimony around what she witnessed on the day of the murder, what was happening when the media was around. That I think she gave testimony in regards to not liking Elise Buell speaking with the media, her conversations with the detectives, Detective Werner, as well as Detective Parshall, who is unfortunately now dead. And not only this, I think she gave testimony as well in regards to the daughter's babysitting and Luigi Sementilli, which we're gonna focus on now, because she did give testimony in regards to Luigi, in regards as a rebuttal, I should say, to Luigi's testimony. As a rebuttal to Luigi's testimony in regards to the insurance that was presented when, if memory serves correctly, and I'm gonna go to Luigi's testimony to kind of cross reference, but she was giving testimony in regards to what happened that day when they found out that Fabio had died, and how Monica was gleeful, according to Luigi anyway, how Monica was gleeful to have learned that in regards to the money that Luigi stood to make. So let's go into Deborah Obad's testimony.
She would give Monica and the girls money from life insurance.
Never.
Would you remember something like that?
Absolutely.
If Luigi, Fabio's son, came into court and testified that you specifically spoke to him that evening about stock options, would that be accurate?
Absolutely not.
And if he testified that you specifically spoke to him about Luigi giving back money from life insurance to Monica or the girls, would that be accurate?
Absolutely not.
So what time do you believe?
So as we have just heard there, let's finish up the testimony.
You took took Monica and the girls back to your house with your husband that night?
It had to be after 9, 10. I just don't remember exactly. but it was late.
What
Okay,
happened
so
when
that's all that's I wanted. So what she has just basically testified to in regards to Luigi is very important, because Luigi, as we know, gave testimony that she was basically stroking the insurance documents, basically like really gleeful, really happy. Monica, she being Monica, really happy, and she also and as we heard, Obad completely disavows the idea that there was discussions even with Luigi and her about the stock options that she was gonna get. This is the stock options, not the insurance. So the stock options would be how much Luigi would have been entitled to make or gain in regards to insurance. She's saying that never happened because Monica had no idea on it. But actually, based on what I'm just remembering from the testimony, I remember going through it on the stream. I can't remember the episode. This is why I started writing down the episode numbers in my on my whiteboard. But this is on my case matrix, I should say. But this is where I believe it was. Never mind. I can't remember the exact episode number at this time, but it was where we learned that Monica had basically gone on to Monica was only calling around to get the insurance and the stock options and all of those things when the kids were being paid those things, when Luigi was being paid that, and when Jessica were also getting their stock options, which is why I didn't quite buy the idea that Monica had no idea about the stock options from Malatesta, even though it does make sense in the aluminum sense. But she would have known about the stock options because she knew about the kids' stock options, so she would have known about it eventually. Sorry, not Malatesta, Jason Rubin, which is why I didn't really buy his idea of the stock options. But anyway, let's move on to Luigi Sementilli's testimony, where he gave testimony in regards to this particular event that Obad just basically denied.
Do you know somebody by the name of Deborah?
So Deborah Obad was a neighbor of theirs, and sort of like one of the only family friends from the area, I suppose.
Had you met her when you would come to visit once a year to
Yes.
Los Angeles to visit your dad?
Yes.
Okay. And so you knew who she was? Is that yes?
Yes.
And did you also speak to the defendant during that same phone call?
Yes.
And did the defendant relay information to you from the defendant?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. Did Deborah relay information to you from the defendant, your stepmom?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did she say to you from the defendant?
objection calls for speculation and foundation?
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So when Deborah came on the phone with me, she said to me, Monica's freaking out about money, worried that they're not going to have money, and that there's money coming to me, and so that I would help them with the money that I was to receive because they need the help.
So one of the first things that was said to you was that Monica was freaking out about money and that money was coming to you.
And that I was to get money, therefore, the presumption was that I was going to give them money to help.
When you say the presumption, you're saying Deborah and Monica said that you would give Monica money?
Yeah, Deborah was like, don't worry, he'll give it to you, basically very presumptuously. And
She's talking to Monica as she's on the phone with you?
And then relaying it to me and saying, you've got to help them out. They're going to need help with money, this, that, and the other.
Okay.
Okay, Luigi says Obad on the phone with Monica relaying that Monica needs help, needs money, and he was going to get money. I didn't write this down at the time. He was this is the last episode. So this is the last episode of this. So the worst part that happened to me during this whole thing, during the whole psychosis that I had, was the fact that I could not find my notes at all. And I don't know what happened to my notes, because I always put them in one section of my computer workspace, and I just couldn't find it. I could only find the newest ones that I made. So I lost all the files that we've made, which was heartbreaking, because I know I would have recorded something from Luigi Sementilli's testimony, but nonetheless, based on what I remember from Luigi Sementilli, is that, and the one thing that is important in that sequence that he gave is the fact that Obad was speaking with Monica and was relaying. Obad was the one that was relaying from Monica to him. Everything that Obad was testifying to in her direct examination was basically saying that it wouldn't be accurate, because she knows from knowing Luigi that she knows that he was the one that stood to make from what he knows because she says that she knows Fabio for a long time, and because she knew Fabio for a long time, what Fabio had had confided in her about the insurance that his children were going to get, specifically Luigi, what Luigi stood to make. And it wouldn't be accurate that she would be saying that Monica was telling her to tell him that he stood to make X amount from in the eventuality of Fabio's demise, that he was going to get money. That it wouldn't be accurate that it was Monica that told Obad to tell him, that she has always known, that Monica had no idea, basically. Monica had no idea that she has always known.
And then did you, in fact, the phone get passed to the defendant so you could speak with your stepmother?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did she say to you?
As soon as the phone was passed to Monica and we spoke for the first time after the murder, the first words out of her mouth were regarding life insurance money.
What did she say specifically, if you recall?
Yep, she says, there's money coming to you, your dad took care of you, there's money coming to you, you'll be able to buy a house, you'll be able to buy a car. That was the topic of conversation.
Did she say anything to you about there being a life insurance policy?
Yes.
And what did she say about that?
That you have money coming to you from life insurance, you'll be able to buy a house, you'll be able to buy a car. Your dad took care of you with these things that will now be paid out.
And did she specifically say to you that there was a hefty life insurance policy?
Yes. Lots of life insurance was up for grabs here. That was the message that was given.
Okay. But do you recall using the words when you spoke with detectives previously that the words she used, the defendant, was that there was a hefty life insurance policy?
Yes.
Okay. And at the point in time when the defendant said to you, there's money coming to you, your dad took care of you, you can buy a house or you can buy a car, did you know anything about what she was speaking?
No, I had no idea about any of this, no.
So you did not know anything about, you had not had prior conversations with your father about any type of policy
Nope.
regarding you as a beneficiary?
No, none of the policies, not even the one, set up with the divorce from my mom. I didn't even know about that one. So no, I didn't know about any of that.
Your mother had never told you about such a policy either?
No.
Now, this is where I do believe Deborah Obad in a bit, because I do think that she would have had an idea or some reason about this policy from Fabio Sementilli, passed down to Luigi Sementilli. I do think that she may have had an idea, but we will have to circle back to this conversation on the cross-examination that was given, because there was one more thing that was brought out on direct examination that I want to highlight, right? Because on direct examination, it was brought out in regards to everyone's demeanor at the wake, what everyone was acting like at the wake. And I think that this was quite important. Even though it was after the murder, it was still quite important to get that vantage point, that state of mind that Monica would have been in, because we heard from one of the witnesses, forgot her name immediately, damn, not great with names, but one of the witnesses testified to this stranger sitting in Fabio's seat, which was something that, if I do remember correctly, because Davis testified and showed the Instagram post where Monica was basically saying that she would not let anyone sit on his seat, and there we have Baker sitting in the seat. And according to her particular testimony, if I can try and find her name, because this is what's killing me, I think her name, I think she was in the same Alicia Truesdale, that's the one, Alicia Truesdale. So she gave testimony, Alicia Truesdale gave testimony in regards to thank God for my reports. Yeah. Anyway, Alicia Truesdale gave testimony in regards to Fabio, in regards to Baker sitting in. She didn't know it was Baker, but or the name of the person. She just described a man that they have never seen before coming in and sitting where Fabio usually sits. And this testimony was quite poignant because it suggests that Monica was cool with the person, and the idea that we had at the time, that we all had, that I had at the time, was that they were quite jovial and happy. Basically, Monica was giggling like a schoolgirl, etc. I think we got to hear that from a couple of people. But I'm using Ron Ray's words for another event. It wasn't for this particular event that she was giggling like a schoolgirl, but she was basically happy to see Monica was basically happy to see Baker, which was the essence that I gathered from the testimony. Now, Deborah Obad provided the state of mind for what Monica was feeling. Let's listen to the testimony.
We didn't even get past the dining room, and Monica and Rob were walking down. There's like 2 steps you can be coming from the front door or whatever, 2 steps, and then they turned to come towards the kitchen.
Okay.
And
so you, just so, because we don't have,
right,
we have a reporter,
right,
you were pointing in a way saying that you saw Monica and Rob Baker walking from the foyer,
yes,
of the house,
yes,
towards the kitchen?
Correct.
And in order to get there, you saw them walking down a couple of stairs?
2 steps, yes.
Okay. And how did you know it was Rob Baker?
Well, I had known that there was a Matt who was a trainer, and that Rob was the coach. So when Monica's mom said something about the racquetball, I assumed it was the guy Rob.
Okay. But you had not met him previously, or you had?
Never.
Okay. And, I'm sorry, continue. What else did you observe?
So as they were walking the stairs, they were coming towards me. And it was so odd because he was like, I never saw his face because his face was just plastered into her ear. And they were just walking, and I specifically was staring at her lips just to see if she was talking back to him or anything, and nothing. She didn't say anything. And he was just kind of guiding her. And as they were coming closer to me, they turned around. He was just leaning into her, so they leaned, and they went behind, because behind is the family room. And they went over and sat on the couch in the family room.
Now, at this time, I think you previously told us that you had, earlier that late summer or fall, confronted Monica about suspecting that she was having an affair, correct? And that at some point in September or October, you learned from her friend that Rob Baker had been overnight at the Sementilli home, right?
Yeah, October, November, I found that part out.
So at that point, when you learned that, you suspected that Monica was having an affair with Rob Baker, correct?
Yes, I wasn't 100% sure if it was Rob or Matt, but when I saw them that night, it clicked for me that it had to be Rob.
But you were such good friends with Monica, you never said anything to Monica?
No.
And you were close with Fabio, you never said anything about your suspicions to Fabio?
Just to watch those racquetball gym friends.
And
that was it. That was the bulk of the testimony. Watch those racquetball gym friends. That was Obad's testimony in regards to Rob that day, and the main takeaway from what she was saying about Rob Baker was the fact that he appeared controlling. He appeared, and Monica was not necessarily happy to see him because her head was down and she was kind of embarrassed, which I guess kind of makes sense, because I guess it kind of makes sense, and the reason why I say it kind of makes sense is because of the fact that you would be at this funeral, right? And the first thing that you're with family, people can infer a lot of things, but her state of mind, her testimony gives a different state of mind. Her description gives a different idea, because it now seems to me that Monica would have been more flushed or trying to keep the peace or trying to smile her way through it, and really and truly she's really embarrassed to see the guy that she's having an affair with be put on blast with a family like that. That's the impression that I'm getting. And it will kind of make sense, because it kind of adds to what the state is trying to say, that, the impression that I got when the state was presenting their evidence was that Monica was so happy to see Fabio out of the picture that she had no problem having Rob there. But now I'm getting the impression that she was so embarrassed to see Rob there that she didn't really want to see him there, that she was just trying to keep everyone happy and not cause a scene. So she, especially with the mother being there as well, I think we heard from Mirella Sementilli that the mother was there trying to figure out who this guy is, but Mirella was describing Rob, them being happy and jovial, so it's a complete contrast to what we're hearing now from Deborah Obad. But anyway, I want to move on to the next part of her testimony, in which she gave testimony, in which Deborah gave testimony in regards to something that we've always heard throughout this whole case, and is the DVR coming back. This is the final appearance of the DVR, because this is something that I never thought, and it kind of bolsters Deborah's credibility as well on the cross-examination, that she answered this question as confidently as she did, because this is what she said in regards to asking Monica to get a DVR replacement.
And in fact, you knew that there was a folder, you told the police there was a folder, correct, with a lot of the DVR information in it that you were looking for?
Yes, when they moved into that house, the previous owners had a folder and they had all this information about the house. So I thought maybe it was in there. I wasn't thinking that it was a new DVR at that moment.
Did you ever find that folder?
No.
Is that the folder you looked for with her sister in?
I think so.
And did you tell Monica or the defendant at some point that she really needed to replace it for security purposes?
I did.
And to your knowledge, did she ever replace that security
I don't
system?
recall that she did.
Now that testimony is really important because we already know that Monica never got the DVR replaced, but it's something that has been denied by Anna Crescentini. Oh, it's not that important. It's downplayed a lot by Anna Crescentini. Mirella Sementilli was the first person to have really sound the alarm on the DVR because she was actually hoping that the DVR gets replaced because the house just got robbed, and everyone else. And we got to, I think from Mirella Sementilli, we got to hear that Monica was telling everyone, no, they're not to be afraid. Sementilli power. And now we got to hear from her own neighbor that she was advising Monica as well to get the DVR replaced. But that just adds to the state's case because the state is saying she is not urgent or urging to get this DVR replaced after the house, the father has just died in the house with kids in the house and everything. That the only reason why she's not urging is because she knows that these people, that they're not in any danger whatsoever, because she knows that who did it, and it was basically Baker that did it. She knew it before anyone else, so they're not in danger whatsoever to be attacked by anyone else again. So that's how the pre-planning would make sense. Now, and let's not forget, in all of this, and I'm going to get to this in the end. But this is the last part of Deborah's cross examination, in which we're going right back now to the insurance discussion with Luigi Sementilli that we just went through. This bombshell kind of dropped on cross examination that I never expected. Let's listen.
Tell his son, don't worry, I'm going to give him his watch. Does that sound right?
Yes, something about the watch, yes.
And this is hours after Fabio's brutally murdered in the backyard.
I don't remember when she said that about the watch.
Okay, so Monica told him to call him and tell him this.
Yes, but I don't know if it was that night or that was a different day.
And then you told the detectives this is the night of the murder that the detectives are asking about, February 14th interview. She said, tell him, don't worry, there's a lot of insurance policies.
She did not say that.
All right. So did you tell the detectives that then in your February 14th interview?
I guess I said that, but that's not what she said. She said Fab took care of him. Tell Luigi you can go to university. Fab took care of you. I'm the one who knew about the life insurance for Luigi.
All right. The question is, did you tell the police that statement?
If you're reading it correctly, then I must have said something like that.
Okay. So you told the police that Monica told you to tell Luigi, don't worry, there's a lot of insurance policies. That's what you told the police in your February 14th interview.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
I shouldn't have said that because that wasn't true.
Okay. You did not call Luigi, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And just like that, like I just gotta say, like I just gotta commend Deborah. I just gotta commend Deborah Obad for being stitched. I mean, no, sorry, not Deborah Obad. I just gotta compliment Eva Stagel for another masterclass of a cross examination in stitching these defendants up, because I never saw that coming. Like because she is trying to say, and I do believe her on some level, that she does know that Fabio was the one to have gotten, to have told her about the life insurance that she had for Luigi. I do believe she has that knowledge. But in regards to trying to make it seem like Monica had no knowledge of it whatsoever, that it's just her, that's the part that falls flat to me, because what she told the detectives at the time when this all happened is that Monica was relaying this to me, I relayed it to Luigi. Luigi said the same thing. She was on the phone with Monica, she relayed to me what Monica was saying to her, and etc. That she should give the money. We just played through it, and now it's only one solution. It's only one way out of. It's only one truth to all of it, and it's just Monica relayed the information to Deborah, and Deborah relayed. Even if she says it's not true in that way, you're saying that now, which is fine. You can say that now, but at the time, that's not what happened. And what are we supposed to believe? What you're saying now on the stand, which yes, you are on the oath, but let's be honest, the most objective truth is the truth that happened closer to the date, because memory fade, which is why the under oath testimony matters a lot, because it's credibility at that point. It's a credibility play. So that testimony right there was such a great testimony, chef's kiss of a cross-examination to extract. Obad also testified that she would expect she was expecting Monica to lie about the affair, even though she had an idea about the affair, and and then after that, Jason Rubin was recalled. We went through a lot of we didn't go through it now, but there was a lot of back and forth in regards to Fabio's estate and the billing of his testimony. But the next witness that I want to focus on is a witness that goes by the name of Anne Challed-Spong. Her testimony was essentially, she got a tennis shoe, right? And she done a sample analysis, a DNA profile comparative analysis to ascertain whose blood was on the shoe. And she arrived that it was Baker's blood. And the law around this shoe is, this was the same shoe that Baker was wearing to racquetball. And because he was at racquetball and then he was hit on the shoe, that proves that the blood that was on the shoe belonged to him, and it wasn't blood that was on the scene, that it was, as he said, my mind was fried at this point, because I was trying to understand the value of this witness, because they brought her in to give this testimony out of nowhere. And this is why I said earlier that if the defense just went and got Austin's Proffer testimony, of Austin's Proffer recording in, because they found one or two things that might seem beneficial, damn the rest of the thing that incriminates them, then this witness is kind of the physical manifestation of that, if that's the right word to use. It's like the physical form of that, because what we got to witness on cross-examination of this witness, I have never felt bad for a witness in my life. I'll just let it run.
Package when it was first delivered to you?
In a bag, a plastic bag.
In a plastic bag.
So the question that was asked to her is, how was this item delivered to you? How was the package, the tennis shoes delivered to you that was basically that had Baker's DNA on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Supposedly.
And was it packaged within the plastic bag, the shoes separately, or were they both in there together?
No, they were together.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that that's probably not the best protocol for how to package items of evidence if you're going to submit them for DNA testing?
Correct.
Because when you do that, you run the risk of the fact that if the items are not separately packaged, that you could transfer DNA.
Yes.
And so then that skews your results, right?
Correct.
And does your lab have any protocols in place for not accepting items of evidence for DNA testing when items are not submitted per an appropriate DNA protocol?
No.
Okay.
For context, her lab, on cross-examination, the first thing that was asked to her is that whether her lab was able to gain accreditation, whether they allow independent verification, third-party checks to see whether they are up to standards to conduct DNA testing, which is quite important for in a field like this, in a scientific field like this, because they need to have corroboration for how they arrived, their testing methods. They have to be approved by a third party, and they just didn't have that at all. But yet, this is a witness that is on the stand giving testimony about the DNA profiles that she done for, because it was so bad that I need a new adjective to try and like describe how bad it was, because I don't know what suitable word. It was like a car crash. I really felt bad for her.
Do you know where this shoe came from?
No.
Did you do any testing for wearer's DNA? And do you understand what I mean when I say
yes,
wearer's DNA? What is wearer's DNA?
DNA from a habitual wearer, somebody who wore the shoes.
Which in this case would be from where?
The interior of the shoe.
Are you asking, or are you?
The interior of the shoe.
Okay. Which areas?
Usually you'll do the edge of the heel and down in the heel area.
In the hopes that you might be able to get epithelial cells, skin cells, or cells from sweat, things of that nature from the person that wears the shoe?
Yes.
And so did you do any swabs of the interior of the areas of this particular shoe?
No.
Or its mate?
No.
Okay. Well, given that you didn't know where the shoe came from, was that not important to you to be able to identify perhaps who had worn this shoe?
That was not requested.
This is so bad. And for context, this is bad, awful, in so many words to try and describe how painful it is to actually see this, because I know she's a professional, and I know the face that she's making right now. It's one of those like, I wish my lab could just have I need this job, basically. Like, I need this to try and advance my career. I don't know, but in all of that, like when you sit back and you look at it, you really need that information, right? Because this could be anybody's shoe, and all they have to do, Baker, what stops Baker from picking up any random shoe, going to a store, right, and buying a shoe, buys the pink shoe that same size as Monica, same size as anything, right, buys that shoe, cuts himself, like, it doesn't have to be anywhere, just cuts himself by the hand, etc., right, and puts the blood on the shoe, and then sends it off, and then gives it to the defense sends it off to try and, like, that's why you need an accredited lab to do the testings, so that they can do the third-party checks like this, so that they can actually verify and be like, yeah, this came from this source, this happened here, this is how we got to this is how we got to that. That's just not present here.
Is there some type of format for submission of evidence? In other words, like if you were to deal with an accredited lab, where you would have the person that's requesting the testing, they would submit a request form that would contain information as to the relevant circumstances that are attributed to the particular item of evidence being tested, so you know what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. And in this case, were you given any information that there was some belief that perhaps there was some type of a racquetball injury?
Yes.
So were you given other items of evidence to test other than this shoe and its mate?
Yes.
And did that include a racket?
Yes.
Did that include 2 rackets?
Yes.
And did you do any examination of those items?
Yes.
And what did you do with respect to the 2 rackets?
Well, you examine one at a time, and I photographed them and tried to look for stains that possibly could be blood.
When you say tried to, how did you do that?
Visually.
Did you use a microscope to aid you in that? Or did you just use your human eye?
Human eye.
Okay. And did you use any type of testing measure, like a phenolphthalein test, for the indication of blood?
Yes, I tested several areas with, we use orthotolidine.
Okay. Similar.
Yes.
And did you find any indications of blood on the 2 rackets?
No.
Not on either one?
No.
What kind of Timu lab is this? Oh my heavens. That's not even all. That's not even all. Just to give a bit more idea, the standards that the lab even set, it's Beth Silverman reviews her Achilles heel in all of this. Let's listen to the testimony.
House, and you said that's your standard and that's what you prefer to do, correct?
Correct.
And then I asked if you did that here, you said no, and I asked you, so then you deviated from what your standard is.
Yes.
Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And why, in this case, did you deviate from what the standard is and what is recommended by the SWGDAM guidelines that you just told us a few moments ago that your lab follows?
At that time, we did not know who was on the shoe or who could be on the shoe. So then we'd have to request profile, like request DNA or blood or saliva reference from who knows.
Stop! He's already dead.
Oh, who knows? If you have to end your soliloquy with who knows? Oh my gosh! Like the same, just for context, the same standards that they at least try to set up, because she testified to the standards that the labs does set. With the absence of independent verification and third-party checks, they even deviated from that.
Right? You develop an evidence profile. It's called an unknown sample because you don't know who it belongs to, correct?
Correct.
And that at some point subsequent to that and separate from that, you would get reference samples. Right? I mean, that's what...
Yes, if there's a suspect in the case.
And in this case, there was a suspect in the case, right?
The suspect being Ms. Sementilli.
No. You were asked to make a comparison to someone other than Ms. Sementilli, right?
Well, when we reviewed the LAPD profiles, we could determine that, yes, this looks like the same person.
Again, I'm going to object. Non-responsive.
It's the same.
Okay, so that's literally the last witness that I'm going to look at, and because listen, there was a lot to do with the. In my opinion, I think if you wanna know how bad this case has gone for the state, this is the only witness. Look no further. This is the only witness that you need to. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, this is the only witness that you need to look at, and Anne Challed-Spong. This is the only witness that you need to look at to know how notoriously bad. And she was the second to last witness, because they recalled Missy Roberts, but I did not find any value from her testimony. They were just talking about the murder book that was basically used to collate, and they tried to show some inconsistencies there, because this murder book was how they collected, how they logged evidence all through the years, etc. So, but this was the second to last witness, and that's the close of this particular case. We finally got to the end, and in all fairness, after going through this case from November, like we've been in this case for a while, from episode 5, I think it's 5, we started this case, to now episode 23. After this much time dedicated to going through all this, I do see the logic in. I can see how the jury arrived at their decision. I think there's so many points to look at, and I honestly, the one thing that is searing and is constant in my mind is just the pure fact that Monica had actually gone and told the dealers that Fabio was killed in his car and she needs a new car, and she did that to get sympathy points. She knows fully well how Fabio was killed. The defense has not even tried to bring this back up to try and like justify why she would say something like that. They have sidestepped that completely, and that is something that has seared in my brain since. And I wouldn't be surprised if the jury are thinking the same thing, because why would someone that loved this man, and we're all seeing her throughout this whole case, sitting there crying, doing all these things, why would she go to the jury, to the car dealership, and then do that? On top of that, why would she go with Robert Baker to do all this if she had learned at some point that he was responsible for killing Fabio? Like, if she knew nothing whatsoever, right? If she knew nothing whatsoever, she, like, her saying that Fabio had been killed inside this vehicle, in my opinion, was probably the nail in the coffin for her, even if independent of the Wi-Fi, not the Wi-Fi, sorry, I keep calling it Wi-Fi, but the details to connect to the DVR remotely, even though she sent that to Robert Baker, independent of that, independent of meeting Robert Baker at Target after the murder was committed, independent of the Viber communications, the volume going up on that particular day, independent of Lifestyle Lounge logging in and closing Lifestyle Lounge at this point, which suggests that she was probably talking to Robert Baker on this particular app and not just swingers. There are so many ways to look at it, but I do think everything goes squarely on that particular last part of evidence, which basically is the idea that on that day that she went to buy a new Mustang, she just couldn't help herself. She just had to stick the knife in where it just wasn't needed, really. And she got on to say that Fabio died in the car, when we know that wasn't the case. He died on the patio, the same patio that she showed Austin around, to show just to show the connection in this case. He died on the patio, but then she tells the people that that she's buying a new car from, that he died in the car. It's just insane when you think about it. Anyway, the next case that we're covering on this case on Source and Order, starting from next week, is the Leticia Stauch trial. She has been handed a new lifeline, as we said earlier, by the Colorado District Court, where her conviction has been reversed. She is now going to be given a new trial. So we are gonna go and we don't know the day of that. When we do know, I'll be covering that trial. Honestly, I'll be covering it whenever that does choose to happen. But we shall be going through the replay of her previous conviction, which is now of course overturned. We shall be going through the details of that. And I'll be trying to work out the logic there. She had pleaded insanity. I believe the last thing I read was that she was saying that it was a personality disorder or something like that, that she lost that, and that's why she is not guilty of this particular crime, because it was personality disorder. Of course, we know she was guilty. The jury rejected that argument. So I can't wait to get into that particular case. I can't wait to get into that particular testimony in regards to it. So the Leticia Stauch trial starts next week. The trial analysis, I'll be watching her trial throughout this week to see what I can ascertain from it and put together a catch-up show in which I will present the most compelling evidence that is worth noting from the trial. But most importantly, the evidence from most importantly, check out I should go onto the Catch-Up Court website and check out the trial reports that we have of here. I'll be posting the trial reports of this particular trial on the Monica Sementilli trial. All 37 days, I'll be posting it onto the website when I do get time. But this is the Brendan Banfield trial that we covered. The Corey Ritten's trial will be posted up this week. And yeah, also if you want to receive the PDFs, this is a lot faster because I just put it into a folder and send it out to the mailing list subscribers. Do go on to the Catch-Up Call website, sign up for the mailing list, and then you'll receive PDFs that way without having to wait to basically read it online when I do get time to post it. The minute I have the PDFs, I just throw it into the folder and send it to the mailing list, and you guys have it within that particular week. So if you want to receive your PDFs of the trial reports that we do have, do go onto the site. Consider supporting us as well if you like what we do, and if you want us to cover a case on here, go on to contact us and send us the case that you want us to cover, that you want me to take a look at. So whatever case that might be, there we go. Send it here. Send a short message, and I'll be very happy to take a look at it and add it to the case log that I do have, because we are live every week going through these cases. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, every single one of you for tuning in for Source and Order this week. I appreciate the people that have been watching this particular case unfold. That's the Monica Sementilli case. And even though we could have been done by February, if I'm being honest, if it wasn't for my health issues, this was going to be done by March. And then we were going to go on to do the Leticia Stauch trial then, because that was next on my list. I still have Faust to do that's next on my list as well as Christina Ricci. Those 3 cases are the next 3 cases that I'm looking at going through on here. So yeah, I can't wait to get into all these cases with you guys. If you like what we do, tune in every week. This is where we cut the testimony down, cut out all the noise, focus on the real important bits, because we know that trials are long. It can take a long time to watch a trial. It takes 7 hours, I would say, and most of it kind of is procedural stuff, which isn't bad, but we are all busy. So I try to make sure that you guys get the important stuff on here. So if you like what we do, hey, tune in every Sunday, become a mailing list member so that you guys can be updated on every Saturday, so that you guys can be reminded of the stream and reminded of the content that we're doing on the channel. Without further, I'll leave it there. I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Ketchup Court live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials, so make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man, and I'll see you back in court.